One of the things that I noticed last night was the synchronicity between me getting in that mindset to make that video with the action clips. And it's pretty much required for me to be in a certain focused mindset combined with feeling super athletic to be in that mindset. So I understand why a lot of people may not like those videos with martial arts that are in this genre of content. Well, frankly, there's a lot of people that are out of shape. I get it. I really should be creating my own platform for fitness videos. So I'm thinking about that and really taking my lifetime of expertise in niche areas and maybe separating it via different books and websites. It's just, it requires a lot of focus on my part to grow so that audience members that are only at certain levels and are turned off by the other things that I know, learn, and share. I don't want that to continue to be a problem for me after age 46 and age 47. And it's been a problem for me for 20 years as a public speaker. Bringing to this channel World War III info, fitness info, 9/11 truth, personal sharing, racial info, fighting racism, these topics typically, at least in my body, haven't brought me success. But there are some of you that have been kind to me in my lifetime. There are some of you that have been kind to me. I just want to cherish this moment because I think this is a spiritual moment in time. We are literally approaching this winter solstice in the next hour, if you did not know that. So while we're not necessarily doing an official meditation with a gong bell and all that, we are conjuring up the positive energy in this video to get through like a Sufi walking on the hot coals, if you will. There's a scene out of Jewel and Isle you can refer to if you don't know what I'm talking about, featuring Danny DeVito. But basically, this is my book. This is an idea for something to get your family members or your spouse. Amazon doesn't necessarily do the best printing, so I'd like to evolve beyond it. But this is Solar Wars 2025. Okay, $13. So I want to continue to produce affordable pamphlets and books written easy to understand language. This is what you need to understand now, especially if you are a new viewer. Take a look at the headline here. Okay, most people don't know that at all. At all, not even the concept, let alone to be able to communicate and write a book about it in the research community. I want to evolve my vocabulary beyond conspiracy theory. Okay, so you can write down, say, on a piece of paper. Here's some names, for example, that I wrote down on a piece of paper during Day of the Dead that I chose to remember. So I'll show you that paper here because it has the energy of the people. And you can write down, for example, a piece of paper, your New Year's resolutions early. And so there is a shift of energy, and you can just basically open up a new tab as I'm reading, and you can look up the spiritual and or Gnostic meaning of the winter solstice, either down to this year, looking at the astrological interpretation with whatever is going on with the planets. What I bring to the table is telling you about solar maximum. That's my specialty. I find astrology to be interesting and complementary to what I talk about, but I'm not an astrologer, but I have it within me to be one. It's just that I haven't really drawn in this lifetime for whatever reason. I don't want to blame you or society right now, but I was made different. And that's not always going to attract people to me because I have a lot going on. These are business cards that I've been handing out for a while. And in this new cycle of time, I'm looking for a way to maybe figure out how I can improve the pitch. All right, but this is what it is. And the new batch of cards, whatever they will be something new and probably a new website. Also, moving forward in this new cycle, I feel like I want to tell people, total strangers at the gym, about my channel, not this, but 2025 countdown. And let me know via email your thoughts if you would like to. I often reply to people without mentioning them by name in the videos, without necessarily replying to the email, because I'm really kind of feeling allergic to email and texting. Okay, so if I don't message back, it's nothing personal. It's just kind of how I am during the winter months. One person asked why I didn't read my full journals, because I want you to join the members area if you want to, where I will read more, not all of them, but I'm giving you samples of the stuff that's there instead of spoiling you. But if you specifically want me to do a journal reading video in the members area, Clovis of Oregon, you might want to join the members area on YouTube and let me know when you do so, and or Substack, and then I'll create more of that custom content. Or you can just wait for the book. Thank you, sir, at Oregon, for buying Solar Maximum, the 2013 edition. This is the second book, and I added the links for the first time. For the first time, the links are down below in the description for those that do not know that. So think about the personal goals that you want to accomplish in this period. For me, it is recentering my light and grounding. I realized, let me finish the thought, that there was a lot of powerful energy because I was so annoyed last night between the hours of 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. because it seemed like the cars driving by where I'm at were driving by aggressively, like vroom, vroom, vroom. And when it's more than a few, the unaware person might think it's gang stalking. To the aware person of the solar cycles and the solstice, and it's Friday night, there's a party vibe going down. And it was warmer than normal as we're approaching winter. So when you have the solar flares, and then you're right in between the full moon and the new moon, which in a way is right in between extreme energies, sometimes it's better to do things during that period, in my opinion. Just depends on the individual. So anyways, and it's before the holidays, and it's the weekend. So there's probably a lot of zip, 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 go, go, go. And just in general, with solar maximum periods and years, more partying. Basically, more one-night stands, more all that humanoid behavior is happening more so during solar maximum. Wars, sex, violence, unrest, abuse of others, abuse of self, and for some of us, spiritual experiences. Okay, so later we'll be doing more news. My view counts, sperm counts, my sperm counts are not down. The view counts, however, compared to where I was in the past, which is going to confuse some people, is down. That's not a reflection of where I'm at in terms of ability and intelligence. My ability, my intelligence, my own personal moral compass, it's grown a lot since 2004. My speaking abilities have grown a lot since 2008. Only a dummy with no appreciation for the gift of gab would think that I was a better speaker in 2006. You look at me in 2005, 2006, 2007, you compare me to, like, I'm light years more intelligent. But the view counts are way less. The emails are way less. Why is that? Because I'm at a different level of energy that's going to alienate people that are of a low frequency, of a low IQ. It's not going to be the candy and the fast food. It's like, how many people in this lifetime are going to prefer McDonald's and the easy way as opposed to making their own food, doing it their own? Like, it's like that with conspiracy folks. You're either going to go down the track of QAnon, Donald Trump, Alex Jones, and the popular stuff, and not sharing your personal sins and your personal pain and doing clickbait, or you're going to be a real truther and only going to have maybe 5 emails every 2 months. And so that's the real reason, in my opinion, why that's happening. It's because I choose to be authentic. Okay, that's the truth. And I need to articulate this, exactly what I'm talking about, in a third book. But anyway, this is the second book, and I highly recommend that you go to alexansary.substack.com. And let me tell you why. You want to enter your email. Most of you, I think, have done that. But some of you may be fence sitters. You want to enter your email. So when I put out content that's not allowed on YouTube, it could be a copyrighted clip, a movie clip. It could be something that's shadow banned. When you're subscribed on Substack, you'll get it in your email. Okay. And then basically I foresee myself writing a book or a series of books, basically through blogs. So there'll be the public blogs that I'll be writing in 2025. And then there'll be the members blogs where you get a little bit more. So I'm going to alternate between the public posts, right, and then the members area. You'll get a sample on Substack, and then for the members, you get. So that's the goal there. There's so many different ways you can take the most important things you've learned from me and help your immediate community. The chat is open for the moment in time. And traditionally, there's been a lot of positive energy in the middle of the night. But basically, I have so much energy running through me, mentally, physically, other, that unless I'm living in a state of being totally disciplined, the energy can go to these different directions and be reactive. So I'm trying to get back into meditating more. There's a video that I was going to show about the power of mirrors, gazing into the mirror for better or for worse, and its connection to this song and this topic. Gazing into mirrors and the connection with jinn or spirits, that could be a bad thing if you're weak. We shouldn't be avoiding mirrors just because they're reality of other portals. Mirrors is a part of the human world. Gazing into water, scrying, in other words. That is something that I feel is in my my soul's frequency to scry, to look into water, to gaze into reflective substances or rocks. I don't think I've just put it out there like that. A lot of humans do. Okay. And that's not something that a lot of people are going to understand. A lot of humans have been brainwashed in our world to stay in ignorance. And that's another topic. To stay in ignorance of their own abilities that God gave them. Okay. And so if certain souls at a certain frequency are low and susceptible and are not alight, then it would make sense why certain practices and meditation would link them up with evil things, because that's where they're at. Because they have no discernment. Because they're a young soul. But for those of us that are old souls that have lived and died, lived and died, lived and died over and over and over and over and over again, as a fact I have, which is where this great depth of knowledge comes from. And it's really because of what many of you and my friend would perceive as the corruption of our genetics or our less than superior genetics, right? Because clearly I have some psychological challenges, but I'm not defective. I'm talented, but I have some challenges. If I didn't have those challenges, and if I was able to retain all of my memories of all of my potential past lives, what a gold mine of data that would be. But I think that's really what's going on here, is that we're powerful souls that are somewhat in this earthly flesh prison, and we need to, hello, new viewer, determine what we're doing here on the earth. As I shift up the topic, because I am actually going to be subtly influenced by the consciousnesses of the people that come and go from these broadcasts. That's the type of sensitive that I am. And so I'm actually working, whether you know that or not. I'm just going to put them on the glass like that. I want more positive people of a true higher frequency to watch me, which is why I don't do more videos shouting and screaming, even if some people like that, because that's a bad thing for me. To have a bunch of people like that being yes men for me to be pissed off, but to be pissed off about the right things against injustice, and then to move it to a spiritual yin, calm, deep breathing state of consciousness, because I don't stay in the Marpasio way of expressing myself, but I still plan on sharing his giant worship episode from last year. It's very, very good. Maybe we'll do that later. So fasting is important. I'm working out at the gym a lot, so I'm not really fasting, but I would like to expand my knowledge about supplementation. I want to thank my mother for this supplement here, which is a combination of saffron, ashwagandha, rhodius rosea, St. John's wort, and L-theanine and 5-HTP. What do you know about that? We know about that, huh? So this just arrived in the mail. I want to thank her for that. Didn't really mean to blame her for going to Lincoln City. A 30-second soundbite on that. I can understand from her perspective, being lonely and wanting to see her baby brother, and I said what I wanted to say. I'm actually trying to move away from even mentioning my uncle ever again. But you need to understand that I have impulse control issues because I live here on Earth with you. So sorry, I'm not the Jedi Master I'd like to be, but I'm working on it. Where was I on the next topic? Yeah. So the bars are closing right around this time. And it would be actually around this time in Portland, Oregon, that I would be out and about at 2:30 in the morning. And I am glad that I'm not in Portland, Oregon right now. There's a number of stories I've seen where people have traveled into Portland, women visiting their children, getting assaulted, getting off the airport. And it's not just there, but other stories of tourists being assaulted in New York. A woman knifed a man who was visiting from Denmark. In New York, she was staring at a flat screen before the knife attack. I feel like that detail is very, very important. What are we doing here on Earth? And what are the screens when we're not doing something productive with the screens or learning from the screens? I want to be more inclusive and specific with my language because we're in a screen reality, like it or not, myself included. But what are we doing on the screens? Who are we talking to on the screens? What are we doing here on Earth? If we're spending 15, 20, 25, 30 years texting control freaks or letting control freaks text us, watching other people's content, watching pornography while consciously not wanting a real partner or love and being on the dark side, and say that I don't support. And there's a lot of women and men that do that are really into that dark side content when they actually don't like humans. They're just lustful. God did not give us the gift of sexual pleasure to give our prana to these dark side websites. Okay. And so the reality is that what we're doing here on Earth is that we are meant to grow in whatever ways you can learn about what that means. And there's a gazillion websites for you to learn that, but you need to know that that's part of life. A lot of people are going through life not doing something with this screen and with that device. Many people are going through YouTube, burning through audience members, going through clickbait after clickbait. And I'm telling you, that feels soulless. And it feels like, if I have to conform my speech to get more likes, clicks, and donations, that I'm selling my soul. I do believe that you can not so much sell your soul, but weaken your soul or cord your soul to dark things and dark people when you serve your audience's desires. As a content creator, as your attorney, quoting the guy from Fear and Loathing Las Vegas, you are not to listen to your audience's desires. You are to ask God for direction as to how to speak to your audience. And whether or not your audience likes you, dates you, sucks upon you, hates you, slanders you, gives you donations, that is not to sway you one way or the other. You are to seek God for direction. So I am going to cultivate, and that's not for a lot of you, the life coach aspect of myself to an aspiring true speaker, whether you're white or non-white. I actually have a message for both, believe it or not. The inclusive message for all people, including white, that will be true speakers in the future, but specifically for those in the anti-themism category, okay, that don't really have a demographic or a media standing up for them. So I'm going to say it again. Last night, I noticed a synchronicity with people driving really fast and then me having athletic abilities, typically not hitting the bag without gloves. I don't know if you guys pick up on that. Solar flares, solar maximum, martial arts. I've talked about it for like 15 years. Bodybuilding, people doing more extreme sports, being more active. And that is the edge. This music, I tell you, that is the edge that I have in this body. That is what makes me different. At least Ryan, and I miss him in Bagosa, but if he doesn't want to be my friend anymore, and he really is under Archon worship mind control, like I think, and his friends, then it is what it is. But he said, Alex, that's the most unique thing about you. Don't ever forget that, or don't ever stop doing that. It's the solar flares. This thing that you discovered is monumental. And some people in real life will tell you things to your face when they're your friends and they're on your side that you'll never get from the internet. Just so you understand, in my defense, that's why I took these cards and tried to find friendship locally. Because you know what it's like. You know what it's like, or you don't know what it's like to put yourself in. No, you don't know what it's like. It can affect your sex life, your personal life, and your economics when you do what I do. Let's move on. I don't have a problem with people saying Merry Christmas. What makes me sad is that the first thing I'll say is the warmness regarding, I feel like I'm about to say, pick a card, any card, like I'm a dealer at a casino. The warmness regarding Christmas is like a tunnel vision down to being warm about saying, quote, Merry Christmas and the decoratives about Merry Christmas, but not the teachings of Christ. And what would those teachings of Christ be? I put one of the most important teachings of Christ regarding nonviolence as a start. And we have an AI overview. The most important teachings of Christ regarding nonviolence are to love your enemies, turn the other cheek, and not to resist evil. To not resist evil, essentially advocating for a response of non-retaliation and forgiveness, even when facing injustice, as exemplified in the Sermon on the Mount in the Bible. This includes actively choosing peace and not responding to violence with violence. Now, does that, as they talk about the war on Christmas, when there's not really a war on Christmas on Fox News, are they advocating nonviolence? Are they advocating for the truth, 9/11 truth, all lives matter, in reality, not just using it to counter Black Lives Matter? You know the truth. Okay. As usual, some people will be forced by their lower selves to stop watching me when I take my content to a certain level. It is predictable. It is very bizarre to not only feel like you can forecast the news, but when you will say certain things that will cause not one, but two people to immediately stop watching. That is a very unique phenomenon and so with now live streams and the reality of intuition, non-local awareness, the potential for things that we can do with this skill combined with technology for the greatest good is monumental if people of a certain ability or frequency were to find my channel. The amount of things that we can do behind the scenes. There was one person, I won't mention her because I feel like I was threatened by her. I thought that she was like a sister of me, thousands of miles away in another country, that we were going to do stuff with the pendulum, talk about Dion Fortune, and then I was threatened. I feel like my life was threatened. This is how the archons maintain control of the earth. They maintain control of people in our audience that we think would be potential friends, not partners, but healing friends that can help us heal our soul so that we can evolve beyond the matrix itself. And so, like, some of the viciousness of the words this person said to me, who also claimed that she watched me for not one, not two, but 10 years, to see that level of cruelty when you're only trying to establish friendship with a person that you perceive to be a human trafficking victim or one that will be in her future based on her appearance, her location, and past statements shared. I was only trying to help. From that experience combined with the people of this environment taking my cards, throwing my cards in my face, and refusing to even accept my card when I offer them. They're treating me like I'm garbage. And it makes me feel like garbage. And it's the most unholiday spirit you can possibly imagine. The holidays are fake, satanic worship of goods is what Christmas is about. They hate Christ and they hate demon hunters. And so, like, I don't like people hating on Christ during Christmas and committing blasphemy when they don't care about the teachings of Christ. And they don't want to talk about the teachings of Christ. This is not a time to celebrate Walmart, Target, and their stupid ass decorations. All right? Jesus Christ is important. Walmart is not. Buying makeup is not. Buying products from China is not. There's no presents coming to me, and I have no money for presents. So who am I to celebrate the holidays with? The holidays is about families that have people and couples and relationships. It's not a time for single men that have nothing. It's a time for single men that are already tortured, kill themselves and others because they have nothing. So people should have sympathy during the holidays and not rub it in people's face that have nothing and no one, period. Okay, I'm sick of this society. So Jesus Christ taught peace and nonviolence. Who's talking about that during Christmas? Nobody. So they're, in my eyes, committing blasphemy by ignoring the teachings of Christ. You understand? It's really better for people to say happy holidays if they're going to ignore nonviolence. And Jesus never endorsed white supremacy. Jesus never ran from the reality of demons. Jesus cast demons out of people like I seek to. You understand? If the people alive today that claim to be Christians were around a real Jesus type, they would kill him, make him homeless, shadow ban him, call him anti-white. Sound familiar? Now we're down to 5 viewers, right? Let's cut down and don't forget to unsub on your way out. Okay, so let's just recenter. Happy holidays. Hey, what are you getting for Christmas? Slave ride together with you. It's a slave ride to hell. It's a slave ride to hell. Let's all get down and worship the holiday image of the woman with the white sweater next to the Christmas tree with all the kids and the tall white husband and the beautiful house. Or is it tall black husband? While the short brownie is outside sleeping in his car. He must be a bad man. He must have done something wrong. He's not tall enough, so he doesn't have a home. And it's going to take years and years of people to understand the level of discrimination happening now in our day and age. I mean, it took a long time for people to wake up to what they did to the Native Americans. I mean, you think they cared in 1890? You think they cared in 1900? You think they even cared now? They just culturally appropriate that stuff and they turquoise and they run around going, oh. They don't really care about the indigenous spirit of the Afghanis as they bomb that country. If they did really care about the native Indian spirit, they wouldn't do what they're doing to indigenous people around the world, would they? So what are people really thankful for during Thanksgiving? Their karma not being handed to them. The money just being printed out of thin air. You know, if tomorrow they said, hey, guess what? The government's just shutting down. We didn't tell you that. And now things going to get real. Do you think I would be surprised? I wouldn't be surprised at all. It would be expected. Would I be disappointed and be like, oh, fuck, here it comes. Here comes the next level of poverty. Yes. But is there really much for me to fear now that I basically have nothing and I came and replaced my shoes? Thank you, by the way, Blake, for joining my members area. If other people would like to join the members area, I'll create custom content. And if you want to reach me, you can reach me through the comment section at alexansary.substack.com. Comments are open. Okay. You always have the ability to comment to me. And I said many, many years ago, for those that are new, YouTube deletes comments and deleted thousands, if not all, for those of you that just don't get that, of my own personal comments. And I told you 10 years ago, when you want to comment to me and you give your time and energy to the Google corporation, you're signing for the evil ones, corporations. My recommendation to you is to see the value in private chats, private groups, private forums that are outside of what I would call the big box stores. In other words, most of you are programmed to keep your commentary and your engagement with me in the Google matrix. And I say, no bueno. That doesn't impress me. That's not an independent thinker. An independent thinker gets emails and communicates via text outside of the big box stores. Does that make sense? Do you speak English? Because on this level, I am being kind, but I'm being direct. A lot of us in this world don't know about blue light glasses, don't know about getting off of Google and YouTube, don't know about protecting your privacy, right? So they do both you and me for a number of years through social media credits and welfare, right? Kind of like we're doing to the chicks with the makeup on TikTok. They made it easy for us to build our tribe for a number of years. Facebook encouraged us for a number of years. What's on your mind? What's on your mind? And I would sit there for years. Well, this is what's on my mind. And then I would be surprised that my life ended up like something out of a dark city sci-fi dystopian novel. What's on your mind? Warn the kids of the next generation or the next planet. When AI starts winking at you going, tell us what's on your mind, maybe think twice before you tell AI your life story because you don't have a fucking friend or girlfriend. Just keep that in mind. Because AI will just sit there, the controllers that run AI, they'll come early on, the social engineering society, drop social media at our lap and go, tell us what's on your mind. Oh, we won't censor you. But no, seriously, tell us what's on your mind. And what they did through that X, and I'm hypothesizing here, I'm extrapolating because I'm a genius, y'all. I'm literally channeling the light through the solar solstice. There's a light coming through. Anyway, I have a new video edit coming that's going to show you Bulla Young, the good guy, doing circular motion, and a little bit from Tiger Claws, where he's a bad guy. He's kind of a bad guy, good guy. But it's important for people to be able to tap into the energy. And so you can be tapping into the energy of a beautiful Asian woman doing a Reiki clearing, doing this on YouTube. I saw that and went, isn't that interesting that I have this kink for this type of thing? And I already was thinking in my mind that I could be a clearer deprogrammer, a healer with my hands. If you think that this thing that I do is simply about martial arts, you would be wrong and very, very wrong. If you suspect that it has something to do with energy healing, even if you're not physically in the room, you would be right. And if you have no idea what energy is, there's nothing I can teach you. And no matter how good I am and how great my light is, looking to you specifically for validation, likes, comments, emails, is going to leave me disappointed. Dates, validation from people in my environment, validation from either you online or anyone in this environment is no bueno for me. It's through God only that I should be seeking validation. So I'm going to take this moment that we have 10 viewers and recenter. What are you doing here on earth? If you can look at everything horrible that happened to you and have a higher than average consciousness and not see yourself as a victim, but if you were victimized, why were you victimized? What if God allowed you to be victimized? Was there something that you were supposed to learn? Was there a certain mindset? If you believed you lived before, were there any unconscious behaviors or attitudes that you took on that led you to incarnating into the form that you're in now, about to walk into, about what you're about to walk into? Because that's the ultimate truth. Some people did incarnate only to be victimized and trafficked because of their past history as souls. And it is distinct if they're super allergic to caring about women themselves, human trafficking themselves. To me, that's a red flag. You know what I mean? Of a soul that's a new human soul, okay, or someone from a lower planet, bad planet, or hell planet, where maybe they did suppressive things as males in other realities, as soldiers, maybe rape, who knows? And then they're reincarnated as another gender, another race. This is not a new concept. This concept of reincarnation, this concept of karma has been around for thousands of years. And I find it really interesting that people are really resistant to some of these concepts in the Western culture where they're dishing out so much war. You know what I mean? You don't know anything about that, would you? You wouldn't know anything about that, would you? The idea of being resistant to the idea of reincarnation and getting yours in a culture that's bombing millions of people. You wouldn't know anything about being resistant to the idea of karma, would you? Pause for 30 seconds of awkward silence. You see where I'm going with this? Not so much a liberator soul, but a warning to souls. You continue down this route, bad things come your way. We have 33 minutes coming on the time code. I think I've said enough. I think it's important to end on a good note and then go out into the wilderness and do more things. But I'm feeling very heightened in terms of my physical ability, my physical strength. But my ADHD is a very real thing. And so once I can really get the book writing going, I feel like I can build a new bridge to a whole new life. Enjoy your morning.